Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from The Federalist. This is dated May 20th, and the title of the article is What Army is the ICC Sending to Arrest Benjamin Netanyahu? So if you didn't hear this, I'm sure the article is going to go into it anyway. Apparently the International Criminal Court, which has no standing to kind of do what they're doing, as far as I've read, is put out an arrest warrant for Benjamin Netanyahu because they think he's doing bad things that he's not actually doing. So let's just go into it. And the subheading here says there is no such thing as international law. So it says, the same day the Biden administration and European Union offered their condolences over the death of Iran's Ibrahim Raisi, the butcher of Tehran, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, or ICC, that's Karim Khan, sought the arrest of Benjamin Netanyahu and other Israeli War Council members over imaginary war crimes. The first question we need to ask is, Karim Khan and what army? So it's not worth taking a deep dive into the intricacies of law and war because Hamas does not recognize any moral or legal restrictions on warfare, and the International Criminal Court has no real jurisdiction over anyone anyway. Well, that's good to know, and like I said, that's what I've always read. So Khan says nobody is above the law, but there is no such thing as international law. The term is a contradiction and a fantasy. Law is a system of rules regulating citizens, in our case with the consent of the governed, and is overseen with due process and enforced with penalties. Americans do not recognize any international government, so there can't be international law. Well, that makes sense. It says, though we occasionally enter treaties with other nations, neither the U.S. nor Israel signed onto the ICC agreement in 2002. The ultimate authority that governs us is the Constitution, and thank God for that. It says, we do not recognize the ability of illiberal European institutions to punish our citizens, and neither does Israel. As well, they should have no ability to. I do remember that we fought a war over that to get away from not European, but more specifically Britain, stuff like this, British stuff, but it's European now, and we still don't really want to be a part of it, so thank you. It says, none of that is to mention that the ICC is an enemy of the Jewish state masquerading as a court. Just read the indictment. And that indictment should scroll back up right here, is linked right there, and the article is linked in the description as well. Just to begin with, the ICC draws a moral equivalence between the actions of Israel and Hamas. Need it be repeated, Hamas, which even the EU designates as a terrorist organization, targets civilians, women, and children for murder and that RAPE word there, and torture. It is still holding hostages, among them Americans. It does not recognize any rules of warfare. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was never indicted by the ICC, nor has Bashar al-Assad, nor has Xi Jinping, nor have dozens of other genocidal dictators. Netanyahu is charged with extermination, starvation of civilians, and intentionally directing attacks against the civilian population, among other imaginary crimes. Yeah, all of those are easily disprovable right now. I mean, like, even these people who are charging him, I mean, it's like, guys, it's one of those things where it's like, you just need to look out your window to see the sky is blue. Like, that's all you need to do. And, like, it's like they're either A, incapable of doing it, or B, doing it because it's Israel and Jews. That's it. It says the ICC presumably relies on the wholly conjured fatality statistics provided by Hamas and spread by the media and the left. And I've done, at this point, a bunch of videos about how those statistics are total bullshit. Go check those out. It is in the playlist for the Israel-Palestine conflict, so go check those out, please. It says the IDF estimates it has killed around 15,000 terrorists from Hamas and Islamic Jihad, or half of fatalities, which is a better civilian to combatant ratio in an urban warfare setting than perhaps any in history. And yeah, that's basically what the main point of those other videos was to say the fatality count for actual terrorists, for civilians is very, very low. There's notice as well that indictments only charge members of right-center Likud who are in the war cabinet. Right now, Israel has a unity government. Every major political party in Israel is in basic agreement that Hamas must be destroyed in Gaza. There is no government coalition that could survive which does not hunt down the remaining Hamas battalions. And the war cabinet, overseeing the decisions that brought on the ICC indictments, features Netanyahu's biggest political rival Benny Gantz as well, yet he is not charged. Placing blame on this one man falls in line with the American left's rhetoric about Israel's democratically elected unity government. Using Netanyahu as a straw man is a politically expedient way to attack Israel's democracy. The entire point of the ICC indictments is to further isolate Israel and reward Hamas. Israel was about to host Khan to explain their decision-making process, but the prosecutor was not interested. This is prosecutor in scare quotes, which seems about right. So of course, it's like they're basically saying, "Here's what we want to understand what you're doing." He's just like, "Nah." So why should they take him seriously? Why should anybody take this guy seriously? It says, in this regard, the real tell is that the alleged crimes cover actions in both the territory of Israel and the state of Palestine. Yeah, I noticed that. Thing is, both of those things are not actual places. It should be state of Israel, and there's not actually a territory of Palestine, so that doesn't even exist. So really, he's very wrong on both parts. Says the ICC creates a fictitious state and downgrades an existing one to a territory, even though it is recognized by most United Nations member states. There is no Palestine. An independent Arab Palestine has never existed. There is no historical precedent for it. It didn't exist under Ottoman rule or the British Mandate, or, in the end, under a United Nations partition plan that was rejected by every single Arab state and Palestinian leadership. It didn't exist when the Palestinians were ruled by governments in Jordan and Egypt, a time when there was virtually no international pressure to create an independent Palestine, and it didn't come into existence when the Arab states rejected Israel's peace gestures after the 1967 and 1973 wars. If Palestinians keep supporting nihilism and terrorism, such a state may never exist, and it won't make one lick of difference how the UN or ICC or EU describes Gaza in press releases. Yeah, I just wanted to get this video out there just to kind of be like, because I know this was news from the time I'm recording this within the last couple of days. And from what I read, like I said, that they're not going to be able to actually do anything. It's just kind of like, you're bad. Here's a slap on the wrist. And it's like, you're going after the wrong people, you absolute morons. But I know they're Jewish, so you got to go after them. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.